Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Okay, today it's like, we go from state to state from time to time, as you well know. Okay, so today we're staying in our home state, by which I mean Lagos, southwest of the country, where we are broadcasting from, Lagos State. We'll be looking into, the agenda, the second term agenda of Lagos State government and governor, and see how that is going to go. Arguably, great things have been heard about the first term, and I'm delighted to have with us our friend, Gbenga Omotoso. Honorable Omotoso is the Lagos State Commissioner for Information and Strategy. A fine morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Yori Folani.
Yori Abba. How can you put Mr. in front? Thank you very much for making it, for coming on today. Okay, people talk about, I guess there's so much to cover because usually, Lagos State, it's like a brand. They're always busy. There's always something going on in Lagos State. But generally, I don't know, you might, what you think about it. People say that a second term for any administration is like a chill term where people can lean back a bit, take it a bit easy. I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't the case with Lagos, but you tell me, is it a chill term for Lagos?
For Lagos, it's never going to be like that because the administration of Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu is always having a bigger fish to fry. So all of the things that you saw in the first term, you are going to see more, greater achievements in the second term. And that is why Mr. Governor has not been resting. That is why he's been all over the place looking for investors to come and help to build all the iconic projects that we have in conception and that we need to execute for Lagosians to have the full benefits of democracy and be able to know that indeed they voted the right man for the right job, and that Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is doing the job.
Arguably, Lagos is the reference state in quite a number of things, not just from within the country where people come check out some of the things that have been going on in Lagos, meaning understudy them and see what they can do. People even come from outside of Nigeria. There's this, it's more than a dream, it's a plan now, this mega city project of Lagos. Is it alive and well?
Well, it is alive, well, and kicking. In fact, what Mr. Sanwo-Olu is trying to do, and that he is doing, is to see that Lagos competes well among the mega cities of the world. It's the sixth biggest growing city in the world, with the population of about 30 million African countries put together. And if you have this kind of population and you are the governor, you know that there is no need for you to just sit down and not move as fast as things are moving. So the smart city project is on. You can see in so many areas of Lagos now we have cameras that can pick up a few things that people are doing.
That's the smart aspect of the city,
right?
Technology,
right?
Linking up with where other smart cities are. So we now have cameras over a lot of Lagos,
right? Remember, we said that we were building a 6,000 kilometers fiber optic cable around the state. And the first phase, 3,000 kilometers. Out of this first phase, we've been able to connect as many public buildings as possible, schools as much as we can. And then the project continues. And recently, our traffic radio introduced to the public, it's digital cameras. Sitting down in their studio, they can see at least 300 roads in Lagos. It's also part of the Smart City project. And so many other things that have been done under this. So by the time we complete the 6,000 kilometers, we will see that we will have done a lot about bringing Lagos at par with other cities of the world, Los Angeles, New York, and all those places. So it's on.
What population figure are we working with for Lagos? You hear all sorts. How many of us are actually Lagos residents?
That's a very controversial question to reply, but as of now, Lagos is between 22 million and 25 million. You just pick whatever you like in between.
I just imagine some African countries that don't even have that. Countries.
I mean, Lagos is growing.
Countries that don't even have that.
Lagos is growing 10 times the size of, in population of New York, 10 times the size of Los Angeles. And it's the population of about 30 African countries put together. So it's huge. And this is what we are trying to say, that even in investing, that this is the place we have to invest because the population is here, return of investment is high, and that whatever you bring to Lagos sells like hotcake. So, and that is the attraction for investors, and that is what we are selling to them as part of it, that we have a young, mobile, strong, creative population. The 60% of this population we are talking about is young people, and they are very vibrant, they are very strong in the areas of tech, in the areas of entertainment, in the areas of creativity. So we are telling the world that they should come to Lagos and see what they can do with this huge population of a very young, vibrant, and energetic people.
And for various reasons, let it be said, everybody wants to come to Lagos. Lagos is where everybody wants to be. And if you're a Nigerian, well, that's your right. You know, so that's on that side. But it must be putting pressures on Lagos, people making a beeline for Lagos. How challenging has that been? I mean, if it had been different, it might have been, but we have a situation where Lagos is the place to be. Wherever you are in the country, Lagos is the place to be. Yeah. Does that put a pressure on organizing things in Lagos?
Yes, so much pressure. I usually say that Lagos is a victim of its own success because the kind of insecurity problems that you hear in other parts of Nigeria, thank God everything is going down, and it's going to be so, there's going to be so much calm in some places where we used to have it so hot. And all of the people can no longer go to their farm, can no longer do their business in some parts of the country. They are all coming to Lagos in droves. They flood in every day, and this is putting a lot of pressure on our infrastructure. And the attempt by Lagos State government not to abandon these people is also something that is of immense pressure. It's of great challenge to us, but we are coping due to the creativity of the administration, due to the sheer determination that, Lagos has a role to play when you talk about the black man. Of every 10 black people in the world, 6 are Nigerians. And if you look at the population of Lagos, you know that of these 6 Nigerians, at least 2 are in Lagos. And because of this responsibility, we do not want to let down the world. We do not want to let down Nigeria. So Lagos continues to push to increase whatever it's doing so that this idea that we must always lead the way and continue to be the center of excellence, we continue to do it. So the challenges are there, but the good news is that we are meeting the challenge.
Indeed, and with the scenarios such as you have just spoken about, having that many people in Lagos, it brings its infrastructural challenges in its wake, and that's why I imagine it's a no-brainer. That's why I imagine the government has been, not just the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration, and even administrations before his, have been heavy on infrastructural development, because these people have to move around.
Correct.
You know, these people have to be housed and all the rest of it. But talking about infrastructure, your rail line, part of the transportation, I guess you can divide this up into there will be land transportation, there will be rail, and even the waterways. Let's leave air out of it for the moment. The most visible, arguably, will be the rail thing. That a lot of money, investment, time has gone into that. Give us an update on that, a sort of a report. At what stage of completion is the complex, the network?
You seem to be talking about the first pillar of the themes agenda, transportation and traffic management. By the time Babajide Sanwo-Olu was completing the first tenure, he had completed 940 roads. He had built 15 bridges. Water transportation, he made 7 ferries Today we have 21, working on the waterways, and more Lagosians are using the waterways. And then if you wait now a couple of months to come, about 14 more large ferries will be injected into the system. And that is it by waterways. Because the idea is to have a link between road transportation, waterways, and then rail. Mm-hmm. But the icing of the cake is the rail, because for so long we've been trying to do rail. We didn't quite get it on. But today, the Blue Line is running, and is doing very, very, very well, about 70 trips per day, and carrying thousands of people from Marina to Mile 2. And the second phase has started from Mile 2 to Okokomaiko. So for all over the world, people have seen that the Sanwo-Olu administration is very serious about transportation, not just as...
these are electric trains?
Right, the one from the Blue Line. It's electric.
Okay.
It's electric, and before we started it, to just run it in the normal way, but now it's electric, and it's fast. The journey that used to be about 1 hour, 2 hours from Marina to Mile 2 today takes about 27 minutes, and people are more and more Lagosians are using the service. Before, we had about 4 million people who had the Cowrie card. Today, there are almost more than 5 million people who have the card. So it means that the Blue Rail, as exciting as it is also something that has attracted more passengers into that corridor. But the big one, in my own view, the more exciting one is the Red Line, which the Sanwo-Olu administration started on April 15, 2021. And the good news is that it has been completed, and any moment from now, the test run will start, and then we will begin to have passenger operations from Alagbado in Ogun State all the way to Oyingbo in the first phase. The second phase is from Oyingbo to Marina, and it's going to be moving thousands and thousands of people, almost 1 million people. And the journey that you have from Alagbado to Oyingbo, which is about 3-4 hours now on a good day, and it's now going to be no more bumpy, no more sweating, no more troubling journey. It's now going to be
very comfortable,
smooth
trains,
and comfortable.
they are
air conditioned.
They're modern.
Yeah, modern air conditioned trains, very beautiful, nice seats.
Are they electric as well, or some of them are regular trains?
The one from Alagbado, the Red Line, is going to be the regular train. It's not going to be electric, because we are sharing the rail tracks with the Nigerian Railway Corporation.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
But
maybe diesel powered
the trains, the trains, all of the other infrastructure concerning everything is new. A couple of days ago, we went to Oyingbo to commission the overpass. Then, before that, we commissioned the one in Yaba. And any moment from now, maybe first or second week of next month, we are going to open the one in Ikeja, to show that all of the things that we need for as infrastructural input into the Red Line, everything is ready. All the stations are ready. Very beautiful Ikeja station. People see it and ask questions. They can't wait to use
These are the two main lines, the blue and the red.
Right.
Really, those are the,
those are the two that we have been able to handle now.
Okay.
But others are on the way.
In the master plan, in the grand master plan, there are indeed others.
Others are on the way.
That will be crisscrossing.
Yeah, I think the green line, which is going to be coming from Lekki, Aja, Assis, all the way to Lagos Island. And I think it's the purple line that is going to be coming from around Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to join the blue line. And others like that. There are about 6 of them in the master plan.
It's exciting, and people, even there were some pictures, we haven't seen them yet, but I thought we would have been seeing some impressions of what they're going to look like. Some of them are works in progress. Okay, we've been talking about the crisscrossing. Okay, what do we have here? These are artist impressions of what you've been talking about, the things that are brought on. Okay, there you go.
These are stations for the Red Line.
Yes, stations for the Red Line.
Agege, Ikeja, Yaba, Agbado,
Some of these are artist impressions, but some of them are actual videos, of pictures of.
Yeah, they're actual videos, and then they are showing the state of these stations as we have them now. They have been fully completed, fully built, and honestly, they are very beautiful to the eyes, and then very comfortable for human beings to use the kind of stations that Lagosians deserve.
Well, you people must need money for all of this. So I'm sure you're looking for investors. I know that I think the government were in the UK recently. What was that trip all about? You looking for support for finance?
Yeah, Mr. Governor is chairman of International Finance Council, which the whole idea is about making Lagos a global financial center.
Okay.
So he is a co-chairman with the famous banker, Mr. Aigboje Aige Imokwede. And they went to London to attend what we call the London Mayor's Show. The London Mayor's Show is a show that has been there for about 805 years, over 800 years. It's also, it's always preceding so many business meetings in London every time a new mayor is inaugurated into office. So Lagos State government is the first African state to have been invited into this show. So Mr. Governor led a team of Lagos State government and Lagos Nigeria Enterprise to that show. And after the show, which Lagos had a very colorful parade with all the other participants. And after the show, there were several meetings with the business people. And incidentally, all of these people, they had heard about all the things we've been trying to do in Lagos and all the things that we have done. So everybody is very happy to see Lagos, to meet with our governor and see how they can come on board and invest in Lagos. We went there to sell the Lagos Film City, the new Lekki International Airport, Lekki International Airport, the food and logistics hub, and then the Omu Creek, and so Fort Milan Bridge. So these are projects that we need investors to come into, and then we show them that return of investment in Lagos is one of the highest in the world.
Even though they say Lagos the money that is available to Lagos from its own IGR is phenomenal, it still isn't enough.
That's what people say, but what they don't understand is that in Lagos you have a population of about 25 million people. Of these 25 million people, about 6 million are active taxpayers. Of the 6 million, about 4.5 million people are really paying. And about 90% of the 4.5 million people, they are you and me. Those people who get the taxes deducted from their salaries, the money generated, revenue generated by LIRS. So if people are saying that, well, Lagos is not doing as much as it should be doing in the area of revenue when you talk about taxation. The big guys, they don't pay. And they say that they don't use schools, their children to go abroad. They don't use hospitals when they are ill. They travel to London. So they do not see why they should pay taxes. But we usually tell them that when you drive from your home in Ikoyi or VI, the road you travel on all the way to Murtala Mohammed Airport before you start flying. It's very smooth, and then it's coming that but has paid for this.
But even at that, Lagos being what it is, I was reading recently that the LIRS is not resting on its oars, and it's constantly devising schemes where it's easier for people to be caught in the net that they need to be part of.
Yeah, because the tax to GDP ratio of Lagos is one of the lowest in the world. You don't have a state as big as Lagos, and then only about 6 million people are in the tax net. Yeah, it's not going to work because you have a lot to deliver to people. So the LIRS is trying as much as possible to not to increase taxes because we know that times are hard, but to expand the tax net so that as many people as possible are coming into it. I once boarded a taxi, and the driver was asking me how he could pay taxes, that he was seeing all of the things that the government was doing and that he would like to be part of it. And I directed him to the website of LIRS so that he could know how to pay his tax. So this is to show you that many Lagosians are happy with what Mr. Sanwo-Olu is doing with the funds that he's getting, and that they are willing to be contributors to this tax box.
Lagos is a deeply traditional state. That's one aspect to it. It also is a very modern state, and just been speaking of it being a modern mega city and all of that. There are some things, I just spoke about it being a deeply traditional state, that seem to have been stuck back in the past. And here, as we are building these ultra-modern facilities, structures, buildings are still collapsing in Lagos. How does that make sense? How can you make it make sense? Suddenly, from time to time, we'll have a program that's going to be based on another building has collapsed in Lagos. Not all of them are old. Some of them are actually relatively new. And so people begin to talk about the officials in Lagos. How can they allow this to happen? How can they not notice that this is not going to work and stop it, and it be stopped? We often come and hear that, well, people went there, they told them to stop work, they continued, and so this is where we are at. How can that happen in a modern metropolis?
Well, it's a very serious matter. But I assure you, those who are saying that the buildings are still collapsing, the incidents has really gone down.
Okay.
It's quite different from what it used to be, because we have stepped up enforcement. The buildings that are down in Lagos nowadays, 90% of them are the ones that are being brought down by the government, by the Ministry of Fiscal Planning, or the Ministry of Environment.
That is indeed another
those
aspect
who are
to it.
built a drainage channel, and those who are building without approval. And we see that such buildings are dangerous to human beings. We go there and bring them down. So that is the ones that were
intentionally brought down for certain infringements.
Yes.
But those that come down,
some have been brought down for safety reasons.
That's intentional.
Yes,
sure. No, that's with due process. The government has the right to do that. Those are intentional.
Yes.
But where buildings come down simply because they were not fit for purpose, you're saying that the incidence of that has gone down a lot.
Yeah, it has reduced.
Some of the old houses, maybe over 100 years old, that kind of a thing. I don't understand, because oftentimes we hear of other cities where buildings are 300 years old, 500 years old. So I don't know. It's a paradox. What can be done? I mean, the ultimate example probably is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That thing is that thing is at an incline. So I don't know if there's a nexus between preserving our culture so that people can see that this is the way our forebears lived 300 years ago, 200 years ago, and safety. Is that a concern for Lagos? Because we have to have a history, as you guys are moving on into the future.
It's not so much of a concern, because we are really doing what we should do. There are so many iconic buildings in Lagos that are still standing today. We are talking about the Lagos Central Mosque. We are talking about the first upstairs in Badagry. If you go there, they are still, all these buildings are still standing, and they are very good. There are so many old churches in Lagos that are more than 100 years old, 200 years old. The Gaidugoron is more than 200 years old. And such national monuments are very well kept in Lagos, because we know that they need to be preserved. So the ministry is concerned, they are doing that job. But that buildings are not collapsing the way they used to collapse. It's because we now have divisional offices. For you to obtain your permit now, you don't need to come to Alausa. You can just go to the divisional offices that we have in the 5 divisions of Lagos to put in your papers, and then you are asked to come. An inspection will be done, and then as you are building, the inspection is there. More young engineers have been hired by Lagos State government to look around for people who are building so that they can guide them, especially people who have come to register. Anybody who doesn't have approval, we promptly have stop work order pasted on his project. So I think that is why the incidence has reduced.
Okay, it's great that you even went there, and you also spoke about some of buildings being collapsing. Are not really, you can't say they're buildings that are collapsing because some government has to step in the public interest to bring down. And you spoke about infringements. You know, we've always been scratching our heads and saying, how do these infringements happen? And then people, especially on social media, will ask, but what was government looking at till it got to this completed stage, and now all sorts of emotional connotations are going to be swaying around? I know you've been talking about this, and it probably is boring, but then as a public service official, you probably want to talk about it. How much better is it getting, or is it going to get, where people don't have to go through this emotional crisis of many people are operating under ignorance. We see swathes of films, expensive buildings that are coming down, and people don't understand it. Why does government allow things to get to a completed stage before bringing down? It's not possible for anything to be going on in Lagos that Lagos government will not know. That's the question that people don't understand.
Lagos government is constituted by people. And wherever you have human beings, you also have human frailties. Human beings are not perfect. Lagos is very big. As I've said, it's the 6th fastest growing state or nation in the world. And when you have this kind of situation, there's no way you can cover everywhere. So if anybody is building and then it completes the building without having the proper papers, I feel that people should not just be sentimental or emotional about this. They have to, we have to do what we need to do to save lives. People must learn how to live within the dictates of the law. The law says you must get approval before you start building.
That's right.
I mean, if you build from the scratch, from foundation up to some level or even completion, and you still don't see the need for you to go and get the proper papers, and the government gets there and sees that this is a building that cannot stand, the government will have to bring it down, especially if it has been built on drainage channels, on a piece of land that you should not...
Or public facilities, thing like that, because it comes back to endanger the people. I understand that Mr. George is on the line. Let's see if I could quickly take Mr. George before going on break. Good morning to you, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Eric.
Yes.
And good morning to the Commissioner.
Yes, thank you.
First, I want to say congratulations to him for successfully going through the rigorous screening at the Lagos State House of Assembly. Uncle Yori, I want to advise the Lagos State government about the train project. I know that the governor has come out with a number of projects. I've seen the 2024 budget estimates. And he's talking of so many projects, including the Fourth Mainland Bridge. But what I would kindly advise is this train project, the one from Marina to my two that is already working, that second phase of it that he has already started, you should please try and complete that one before the end of his tenure. And this red line, if it is only those two that he has achieved within this period of his own administration, it will be a very, very good legacy. If you have to, the major problem in Lagos is transportation. And this train system has come to address it. So I will advise he pays extra attention to it to see that at least these two phases of it are completed before it goes away. And I want to also thank the Lagos State government for what they are doing on security. You know, there's a lot of security, there's a lot of work in security, but people do not see it. In spite of all the heavy migration to Lagos, they are able to contain security situation, and I know a lot of work is going into it. So I want to commend the government, and they should please do more. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. Before you sort of react to that, if you indeed want to, let me go on a quick break. So when we come back, I will need to interrupt you. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. We'll continue to take your calls when we do come back. Use our second term agenda. Now, just before we went away on break, Mr. George called in and, spoke about the security and his comments on wishing that, look, whatever you do, the red line, if you guys can complete that one, if you just zero in on a few things, you sort of have made your date with history.
Well, I have good news for Mr. George and all of the people who are looking forward to see the full operations of the Blue Line.
Okay.
The last phase.
But you talk about the red line.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that one too. The last phase of the Blue Line is on. The contractors are there
the final
as I
stage.
speak now, even as we are working on the financing so that the work does not stop. All things being equal, and all things are going to be equal in this particular instance, I know that Mr. Sanwo-Olu is going to complete the Blue Line. The second phase from Maitu to Okokomaiko, it has already started. The contractors are there. And talking about the red line, which I said Mr. Sanwo-Olu started April 15, 2021. I'm happy to tell Mr. George and others that it has been completed. All the stations have been built, and all the overpasses, they are built. Recently, we commissioned the overpass in Oyigbo. Before that, we commissioned the one in Yaba. And any moment from now, we are going to open the one in Ikeja. All the stations, you have seen them. I saw them in Iju now. Yeah. Iju has a station. Agbado, there's a station. There are about 8 stations in Oyigbo, in Yaba, in Mushin, in Ikeja.
These are artist impressions of those,
yes.
very...
So, very beautiful stations. All of them have been built, they have been completed. So, any moment from now, by the end of the year, or first quarter of next year, the red line will begin a test run operations. And we're going to test run it and ensure that everything is fine. But as you can see, all the stations have been built, the overpasses have been built, and then all that is left is that, the rolling stock is there. So all that is left is for us to just begin the operation. So I assure him that first quarter of next year, it will start running. Okay,
one moment, please. Let me bring in Mr. Joshua, who has called in from Irewolide. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
And I greet the Honorable Commissioner. My first point of concern for Lagos is security. And I need the Honorable Commissioner to take note of this, because I've been looking at the body language of the governor. This security is very germane in the sense that look at what happened during the NSAS, where almost everything in Lagos was burnt down. So building infrastructure itself does not speak to development when the people are not developed enough to appreciate what they have. The people will go after these things and destroy them. So there is a need for Lagos to be deliberate about building human capacity, about building the citizenship of Lagos, so that we don't have this situation where there's a riot and then you go to BRT, you burn down everything. So, people are angry with Lagos. Like he said, the commissioner said that Lagos is a victim of its own success. Because now in Nigeria, Lagos is almost like at the forefront of almost everything. So it's going to be something that is strategic for national growth. Secondly, I want to plead with Lagos. The governor that is in Lagos has opportunity to be a frontline success for Nigeria. The president in Abuja will not oppose him if he's growing, if he's doing anything concerning power. I want to say that development will not happen from Abuja. It's going to happen from a state, and it could be from Lagos. Since they have synergy now, the governor should use everything possible, every day of his administration, to keep Lagos at the front, so that Lagos will set the pace for others to follow. Thank you again, Oguyori. This is your program will receive national award for building Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
That's what you're doing.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Joshua. Well, kudos to Lagos there, but he did speak about security, to whom much is given and all of that. the assets in Lagos are such that if he spoke to, in a sense, human capital development there, if you don't have a trained populace, if you don't have a knowledgeable populace, if you don't have an educated populace, then you have people who would resort to things like that, arguably. Let it be said, we saw what happened, even the Americans themselves, we saw what they did on Capitol Hill. So we can't say that those ones are in the same educational development phase that we are in. But I think his point is probably well taken, that as we are developing, we also need an enlightenment citizenry to know what they have and be able to take care of what is their own.
Well, the administration of Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu is doing everything possible to ensure that whatever we are doing, the poor among us, the poorest of the poor, they are carried along.
So like no man left behind.
Yes, nobody is left behind. That is why education remains free at the basic level. That is why we are having a kind of food scheme for people who are poor, who cannot afford to feed themselves, especially now when you have inflation skyrocketing prices of goods, when you have negative effects of the removal of a fuel subsidy. So all of the things that can make people to complain that the government has abandoned them, we are trying to plug such loopholes. But security matters
Even health,
are not...
I beg your pardon for jumping in. Even in the health area, there's a lot that is free. Remember, there used to be some program, Jiggy Bola, that kind of a thing, optical services. And
that is still there, but we have even gone beyond that. When the federal government removed the subsidy of fuel, and then food prices and transportation prices went up. Remember, Lagos State government was the first to say that transport fares should be slashed by 50%.
That's right.
And apart from that, that's women who want to put to bed in our hospitals, either normal delivery or surgery, that they shouldn't pay a dime. That is still on today. If you go to any of our hospitals, people don't pay.
Okay.
If you want to have delivery as women.
You continue with this, but I have Prince YS on the line, and I don't want to lose him. Good morning, Prince YS.
A very good morning to you, Uncle, my dearest Uncle.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you very much. You see, I want to comment my excellency, Dr. Sanwo-Olu. And the commissioner, I want to say good morning to you.
I agree to, sir.
I've seen a lot what you show on TV. I'm very, very happy about what is going on. And our blue line to my Marina is working. And from my to Koko, work has not started. So you will tell us now it's going to start. Secondly, I want to appeal to you that the time I visited the terminal. The terminal, when we was commissioner, just like Dubai. But when you go to that area, the road surrounding the terminal is not moderable, number one. Number two, the managers of that terminal is not performing well. That a lot of smelly around that area, urinate around that area. Those two parts, it's supposed to be 24/7 sweeping all the area. I want to appeal to you, please and please, let me tell my governor to direct the environmental commissioner who is performing brilliantly to visit that terminal. Finally, our road, rain is no more now. I want our road to especially start and one of area. Please, Mr. Commissioner, I want you are performing well. My government is performing well. But all this meanwhile, I want you to inform Mr. Governor that my complaint, please take note, especially during the night. Lagos is dark during the night.
All right. Thank you very much, Prince YS. Appreciate your call. We'll let Gbenga react to some of those things.
Well, I think he has made a very valid point that the terminal he spoke of, well, we will visit the place and see what is going on there and see how to correct it. And I think he also spoke about the blue line that is up and running. Yeah, it's going to remain so. And then the second and last phase that we are doing now, we are going to complete it to the joy of all Lagosians and then to the praise of the Almighty God. And then he spoke about road too. The thing is that in Lagos, you have about about 9,047 roads. There is no way you can visit all these roads in one day. But we will continue to try. As I speak with you now, Lagos State Public Works Corporation, they are working on roads day and night.
Okay.
And they put it on the social
Talking
media.
of night, he spoke about the electrification of Lagos. He said Lagos is dark at night. Now, I know there are publications that show that Lagos is very bright at night in some areas. Some areas.
Yeah. We have a challenge with the street light in some places. What we are trying to do is to do retrofitting. Where the lights are on now, you can see that they are brighter than what it used to be, because we have been able to change some of the bulbs. It's taking a long time for us to change all of the bulbs. And apart from that, diesel prices are so high now, and it's just incredible. So we are trying to change from diesel to put in the normal public electricity system, or to use gas. And this conversion is also taking time. Okay. So what we need to do is just to appeal to Lagosians to be patient. All of the places where the lights are not on nowadays, they will soon be on. Okay,
Mr. Yakub in Dokwemu, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to Commissioner Honorable Omotoso. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I think, let me begin by saying that Lagosians are so lucky. It's the time of Ashwat Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Fashola Ambode and then present governor. We are so lucky. For Shivyori, I have a request. My request this morning is that the way you always bring the Lagos State commissioner and then people that are working with Lagos State government, can't you do the same thing with Ogun State, please? You know why? We that we are living in Lagos State, some of us living in Lagos State, we are still staying in Ogun State, as case may be, because the two states just enter each other. You appreciate Lagos more when you have opportunity to be in Ogun State once. Because, Shivyori, I wish, I stand to be corrected, even though I just have to say this. I wish they see if for local government to Lagos State. You know why? Shivyori, because I say this because of the kind of struggle, suffering people in for local government are passed through because of absence of governance. Let me tell you this, hey, Dopemu, you can barely see a street that was not tied now. I don't know who beyond this brain that so street must be tied in a year. There are some streets in Lagos State, especially actually local government, that you will never thought that you can move there without not stop. But now, if you go to some other street in this aggregate, I stand to be corrected. You would be asking yourself, is it this street or is this street or another way, another place I am? Because you would thought that in your mind that this street can never be done. But it has been done. A lot of work is done, especially the street. Yeah. They were doing a lot of job. Simply, if you have opportunity traveling from, especially from Gbenga down to E4, you will not go there a second time. And then I was asking myself, I didn't mean this particular road. See to Lagos State government. Lagos State government will never look it as if it is a federal government road. It will do all possible best to fix that road. It is not motorable. Somebody they are not sick, and then they are rushing that person to hospital. See, the person will pass on. So let me use this opportunity to tell Lagos State government, especially Sanwo-Olu, my governor, my able governor. I don't know who is number one between him and the Borno State government, because the Sulum and Sanwo-Olu, they stand out because they were showing us what they were doing. Come to Ogun State. I have that request. Please bring the official of Ogun State. Here is the only opportunity that we have to interrogate them.
All right.
Do you get it? That is why the caller said that this very particular program, they need to give you a watch.
Thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate you. I appreciate you, Mr. Yakub. Interesting commentary really. He would want us to see. He would want to see as we see commissioners from your state, even from our state. Speaking about Ogun State, after all, I'm an Egba man myself. I'm not a Lagosian. I don't know if you're a Lagosian, but we were talking about so many people making their way into Lagos. Point well taken, Mr. Yakub. So he made a point there that in criticizing things going on in our state, that is including my original state, Ogun, and Lagos, that, look, there are things that Lagos State will not wait for it to be a federal government matter to action. How true is that? Because sometimes when you are pained, you can say some things. Is it true that you people don't wait when it is a federal government matter? If it is important enough to the people, you actually will see what can be done apart from federal government dragging their feet?
First, I wouldn't want to join the comparison between Lagos and any other state. But all I know is that the focus in Lagos is not about whether a road or any facility is a federal facility or is a state facility. We're just going there to fix what the problem is. But like I have said, there are so many roads in Lagos that we can't fix the same day. But I don't want to join the argument about whether a road is federal or state. But we will continue to do our best in Lagos to make Lagos very highly livable for Lagosians, to make Lagos comfortable for Lagosians, to make the city work for everybody.
But let it also be said, for sake of comparison, that is not to say that there are no slums in Lagos. I mean, because let us not get carried away. It's all a work in progress. There are slums in Lagos too. The idea, of course, is that there are slums in anywhere, any capital
Thank
city,
you so much. There's no place in the world where you don't have slums.
Don't have slums.
But Lagos, we have a deliberate program about what we call Lagos Urban Regeneration Program. The Urban Regeneration Program has been able to take care of so many places. If you go to some parts of Ajegunle today, you'll not be able to recognize them. There are some who are in the slums that you talk about who have refused to move. Yeah, we have
some are living on brackish black water, stilted houses. But let me not spend more of Felicia's time. Felicia is on the line. She's calling in from Isola. Good morning to you, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you? Welcome, Yori.
I'm very well, thank you.
Commissioner.
Okay.
Hi. I'm from Isolo. I'm from Isolo.
Okay.
Our roads are very bad in Isolo. So I want the governor to come to our aid. It's as if we are not even in Lagos State. Going from Abimbola Way is in the Sare. From Akpata School to Yanontire is one. From Akpata to Agor Roundabout is one. From Agor Roundabout to Sele is unpassable. Please come to our aid. We know the governor is doing a lot of elephant projects, and we really appreciate him for that. But it's all love. Please come and see what you are suffering from. If you enter Marowa, you are in trouble. If you carry your car, the car is all our cars are spent in Isolo. Please, Isolo. Akpata to Yanontire. Akpata, Ibe Road to Agor Roundabout. Agor Roundabout to Sele. Then Abimbola is no longer passable.
Okay.
We are just pleading. I'm pleading. Please come to our aid. God bless Lagos.
Thank you very much, Felicia, calling.
I think the problem of bad roads is not limited to a section of Lagos. We have as many roads as possible that are very nice. Like I said, in the first tenure of Mr. Sanwo-Olu, he did about 970 roads, 15 bridges, and on like that. So this particular
you said there are 9,047 roads.
About 9,047 roads in Lagos. There's no way you can fix all at the same time. But what has slowed down the job recently is the rain. The rain has been falling, incredibly, even torrentially. And then there's no way you can fix roads when you have rains. Asphalt and water, they are not friends. They don't mix. So before you go and smoothing a road and then put asphalt, you wait for 3 days and see that the sky is clear and that there is no reason to fear. Then you go and put your asphalt. Otherwise, it will be money down the drain. So it's all, we can't blame nature. It's all part of the global weather, global warming that we are talking about. So I feel that any moment when the rains subside,
Solo is getting the particularly bad end of the stick.
I haven't been in Isolo
quite a while.
Yes, in quite a while. But I know that the woman who phoned, she lives in there. For her to have been able to mention all the roads around her that she feels are bad. And I can assure her that this message is going to be carried to Public Works Corporation, and they are going to look into it. Anywhere in Lagos that we have not got into, it's not because we have neglected them or we are not going to get there. It's a question of time. We are going to get to Isolo. We are going to get to so many other parts of Lagos where the roads are bad.
Because there is a major, as you said, Isolo is getting, well, is not getting the kind of attention that she would imagine. She's there. She's there. And but there is a major construction, but I think that's federal. There's a major road construction coming along the whole Mushin-Isolo road, drainage widening of the street. Of course, it leaves the place in a mess, but that often happens when you have construction. But Felicia was talking to so many other surrounding roads where she gets the impression that, please, tell Mr. Governor to make a tour of that place. They have seen Mr. Governor in some other kind of places in Lagos, so let him come to our own place too.
The governor doesn't need to come to Isolo before he fishes the roads there. I assure the Madabu Court that very soon the Public Works Corporation will get there. The rains are subsiding, and we are praying that nature should keep it at that so that we can move in and fix all the other roads that we have not fixed. We have the capacity and we have the determination to go and fix them, and they are going to be fixed. Okay, I guess this is a fine place to leave it, because we've had this conversation. It's really about Sanwo-Olu's second term, and you've sort of given the indication that, look, a lot has been done in the first term, and there's no way you can look at it as a time for resting, that there's such a lot more work that is even ongoing. And people have called in and have given their suggestions too. So I want to thank you for coming along. A program like this to look at Lagos efficiently and effectively really would need something like a 2-3 hour program because people would continue to call in. Some of them will be commendations, some of them will be suggestions. And indeed, we didn't get very much of that. Some of them will say that they haven't even done enough, but we didn't get as much as that. So I want to thank you very much, Gbenga Omotoso, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Lagos State, for coming along. Don't be a stranger is all I can say. Come again soon. Thank you.
Okay, so that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.